In an era of manufactured stars and auto-tuned perfection, one voice has managed to break the system. She is a global phenomenon who refuses to sign with a major label, a soprano so flawless that critics claim she isn't human, and a sister whose rising shadow threatens a carefully built empire. Tonight, we deconstruct the paradox of Lucy Thomas, the girl who lost a reality show but won the world, and the high-stakes gamble in 2026 that could change everything. This is not a pop story, it is a masterclass in the power of the no. The year is 2018, and the bright lights of The Voice Kids UK are blinding. At just 14, Lucy Thomas is the statistical favorite, a vocal powerhouse whose soprano range seems almost supernatural for her age. Then the unthinkable happens. She is eliminated in the semi-finals. For most young artists, this is the end of the road, a crushing blow to a budding ego. But for Lucy, this failure was the ultimate escape. By exiting the reality TV machine before the final curtain, she avoided the predatory long-term contracts that often strip young winners of their creative agency. This was not a loss, it was a tactical liberation. It allowed her to walk away from the corporate banding machines of London and return to her roots, holding the most valuable asset any artist can possess: total ownership of her future. In the US market, where reality TV stars often fade into obscurity due to restrictive deals, Lucy's exit remains a masterclass in professional foresight. While her contemporaries were rushing to sign soul-crushing deals with the big three global labels, Sony, Universal, and Warner, Lucy Thomas did something radical. She stayed small. By signing with the independent Cavendish Records, she rejected the traditional path to pop stardom in favor of a bespoke, artisan career. This decision created a fascinating tension. She became a global digital phenomenon while remaining a local independent secret. For an American audience used to the aggressive rebel rebranding of teen stars like Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez, Lucy's refusal to edge up her image was a shock to the system. She doubled down on purity, a move that critics initially dismissed as safe, but which proved to be a brilliant marketing differentiation. She wasn't just another pop star, she was the guardian of a dying vocal tradition, proving that you don't need a multi-million-dollar marketing department if you have a voice that can stop time. As her studio recordings began to flood the internet, a strange and persistent controversy began to take root among the audiophile community. Her vocals possessed a technical flawlessness so absolute that they triggered the uncanny valley effect. In a world where AI-generated music and heavy spectral editing are the industry standard, some began to question the authenticity of her sound. Was this a human voice or a meticulously engineered product of high-level software? The robot versus real debate became a central theme of her career, with skeptics analyzing her waveform data for signs of artificial manipulation. This scrutiny created a unique digital friction. The very perfection that made her a star was now being used as a weapon against her credibility. However, this skepticism only served to fuel her legend. Every comment claiming her voice was too good to be true acted as a catalyst, driving millions of curious new listeners to her platforms to judge the mystery for themselves. To silence the whispers of studio magic, Lucy stepped into the most unforgiving arena on earth, the West End. Taking the lead in the production of Rosie, she faced a wall of skepticism from the theatrical elite. They viewed her as a YouTube singer, someone who could perform for a camera but would crumble under the physical and vocal demands of a live 8-show week. The opening night at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane was the pivotal crisis of her career. There were no retakes, no filters, and no pitch correction software. When she hit the final notes of her signature ballads, the silence of the room wasn't just respect. It was the sound of 1,000 critics being proven wrong.
She didn't just survive the transition to the stage. She redefined what a modern crossover artist could be. For her American fans, this was her Broadway moment, a definitive proof of concept that her talent was not a digital illusion, but a raw, undeniable, and terrifyingly powerful physical reality. As Lucy's empire expanded, a new and complex dynamic emerged within her own family, the rise of her younger sister, Martha Thomas. What started as heartwarming sibling duets soon evolved into a topic of intense industry speculation. Martha's vocal tone, while distinct, carries the same ethereal DNA as Lucy's, leading many to wonder if the industry is witnessing a partnership or a slow-motion succession. Is Martha the supportive confidant, or is she the insurance policy for a label looking to double its market share? In the high-stakes world of music, sibling rivalries are often manufactured for drama, but here the tension is subtler. It is the tension of the spare versus the heir. As they stand side by side on stage, the visual and auditory symmetry is haunting. Fans are left to wonder if the global stage is large enough for two Thomas sopranos, or if the inevitable push for solo stardom will eventually force a choice that could fracture the purity of their shared musical legacy. The year 2026 marks the beginning of what intelligence suggests is a seismic shift in Lucy's career trajectory.
Reports from within her inner circle indicate that the pure soprano era is coming to a close, making way for a high-concept, commercially aggressive pop aesthetic. This is the twist in her narrative arc. After years of cultivating an image of classical innocence, Lucy is reportedly pivoting toward a global pop sound designed to compete with the likes of Taylor Swift or Adele. This move is fraught with danger. For a fan base built on the foundation of purity, a shift toward mainstream pop could be seen as a betrayal of her independent roots. The rumors of this rebrand have sent shockwaves through her loyal community, sparking fears that the unique, untainted identity she fought so hard to protect is being sacrificed at the altar of Billboard charts. This is no longer a localized success story. This is a calculated gamble for the soul of an artist who has finally decided to conquer the world. The upcoming 2026 European tour is the physical manifestation of this new ambition. Traveling through cultural hubs like Geneva, Paris, and Berlin, this tour is designed to test her new, more contemporary sound in front of diverse, high-pressure audiences. This isn't just a series of concerts, it's a stress test for her brand. Can the angelic singer from Lancashire command a stadium with the same authority she held in a quiet recording studio? The fallout of this tour will determine her legacy for the next decade.
If the audiences reject the transition, she risks becoming a niche artist forever confined to the classical crossover bin. But if she succeeds, she will have accomplished the impossible, a successful transition from independent prodigy to global icon without the help of a major label. The stakes are binary. This tour will either solidify her as the most successful independent artist of her generation, or serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of chasing mainstream validation. As the tour progresses, the authenticity debate has reached a fever pitch, fueled by the higher production values of her new show. In a landscape where audiences are increasingly cynical about perfection, Lucy's greatest strength, her flawless execution, has become her most significant hurdle. The fallout of her success has created a paradox. The better she performs, the less human she seems to certain segments of the public. This is the crisis of the modern superstar. She is caught in a loop of having to prove her humanity through intentional vulnerability, a task that goes against her nature as a technical perfectionist. This struggle to find the balance between being a flawless icon and a relatable human is the central conflict of her current era. It is a psychological battle played out on the world stage, where every note is a statement of intent, and every silence is a question directed at an audience that is increasingly difficult to satisfy in the age of the algorithm.
We are witnessing the final days of the Lucy Thomas enigma. As she moves closer to the 2026 global pop pivot, the wall of privacy she has maintained around her personal life is beginning to thin. To reach the highest echelons of American pop stardom, the industry often demands a confessional style of songwriting, a shedding of the mask that Lucy has worn so effectively for years. This is the fallout of the transition, the loss of the mystery that once defined her. Her fans are divided. Some are eager to finally see the real Lucy, while others fear that by opening the doors to her private world, she will destroy the very magic that made her special. The transition is a double-edged sword. It offers the world, but it demands the self. As she prepares to launch her most personal work to date, the question remains, can she survive the scrutiny of a world that wants to know everything about the person behind the most perfect voice in modern music? Ultimately, the story of Lucy Thomas is a testament to the power of the no. By saying no to the major labels, no to the easy path of reality TV fame, and no to the pressures of conforming to a sexualized industry standard, she has carved out a space that is entirely her own. As we look toward the conclusion of her 2026 tour, her legacy is already secure, regardless of the commercial outcome of her pop pivot.
She has proven that an independent artist can build a global empire on their own terms, using digital tools to bypass the old gatekeepers while using traditional talent to silence the new ones. She remains a beautiful paradox, a singer who achieved global success while staying in the shadows, a performer who is both robot and soul, and an artist who managed to stay pure in an industry that thrives on compromise. Her ending is not a finale, but a transformation, leaving us to wonder, in an age of artificiality, is Lucy Thomas the last real thing we have left?